He laughed when her tears fell, never realizing each one was a silent record, a promise, a future regret carefully being written in his name. The first time he laughed at her tears, it wasn't loud. It was a small, careless sound, something between a scoff and a sigh, like her pain was an inconvenience he'd stepped on. She stood in the doorway of the glass-walled conference room, fingers trembling around a stack of reports she'd worked on for weeks, eyes burning as if someone had poured salt into them. The board members watched in silence. He didn't even look ashamed. "Don't be dramatic," he said, leaning back in his chair. "Tears won't save bad work." The room tilted. Not because the work was bad, everyone there knew it wasn't, but because he'd chosen that moment to humiliate her. She swallowed hard, nodded once, and turned away before anyone could see her break. What he didn't know, what no one in that room knew, was that those tears were not weakness. They were memory. They were inventory. And she never forgot what she collected. Her name was Amara Okoye, and she had learned early how men like Victor Hale mistook silence for surrender. She grew up in a house where voices were weapons. Her father believed volume meant authority. Her mother believed patience meant survival. Amara learned to listen, to notice what people said when they thought no one important was paying attention. By 16, she knew which teachers skimmed essays, which friends lied easily, which promises were empty. By 25, she was a financial analyst with a mind sharp enough to cut glass, recruited into Hale Global because Victor liked to say he saw potential. What he meant was that he saw someone he could control. Victor Hale was a man who built empires by convincing others they were lucky to stand near him. He smiled in public, crushed in private. Praise was currency, humiliation was leverage. Amara watched him do it to others long before he turned it on her, interrupting women in meetings, taking credit for ideas, smiling while erasing people. She told herself she could outwork him, outthink him, survive him. Then came the tears. After that meeting, her career shifted in subtle, poisonous ways. Her projects were reassigned. Her emails went unanswered. When she spoke, Victor checked his phone. When she stayed late, he left early with her work under his name. People stopped making eye contact. It was as if she had been quietly demoted without a memo. "You should keep your head down," a colleague whispered once in the restroom. "He doesn't like being challenged." Amara smiled at her reflection, eyes red, posture straight. "Neither do I," she said. At night, she stopped crying. Instead, she opened spreadsheets. She reviewed contracts. She traced money flows the way some people traced constellations. Hale Global was clean on the surface, immaculate, admired, philanthropic. Underneath, it was a maze of shell companies, creative accounting, and legal gray areas, so thin they trembled. Victor trusted her with data because he believed she was broken. He mistook her quiet for compliance. He didn't notice that she kept copies. He didn't ask why she volunteered to help audit a subsidiary in Lagos, or why she memorized clauses instead of skimming them. He didn't see the way she flinched every time he mocked someone else, filing the moment away. Regret, she would later think, is what happens when arrogance meets patience. The second time he mocked her tears was in private. She had gone to his office to ask for feedback, officially. Unofficially, she needed to see how far he'd go. He barely glanced up. "You're too sensitive for this level," he said. "I thought you were stronger." Her eyes filled before she could stop them. The tears surprised even her. Victor smirked. "There it is," he said softly. "That look. You know, Amara, if you want to survive here, you need thicker skin." She wiped her face, nodded, and thanked him for his time. That night, she didn't sleep. She opened a new folder on her laptop and named it Regrets. Inside, she organized everything she had learned. Every irregularity, every quiet violation, every signed approval Victor assumed no one would question. She didn't rush. She didn't leak. She didn't confront. She waited. The opportunity came disguised as generosity. Hale Global announced a major acquisition, renewable energy firm praised for ethics and innovation. Victor preened in interviews talking about legacy and leadership. He asked Amara to help prepare the financial narrative for investors. "Make it beautiful," he said. "You're good at making things look harmless." She smiled and got to work. What Victor didn't realize was that the acquisition depended on a fragile lie. The firm's value was inflated by future credits that didn't exist yet. Credits Hale Global planned to count early, quietly, illegally. Amara didn't argue. She documented. She saved drafts, timestamps, approval chains. She noted who knew what and when. When the auditors came, external, expensive, and supposedly friendly, Amara offered to help coordinate. She answered questions carefully. She never lied. She simply told the truth in the most complete way possible. The investigation began slowly, like a rumor. Then it spread. Victor called her into his office again, this time pale with irritation. "Did you say something?" he asked. She met his eyes. "I answered questions." "Did you cry?" he snapped. "Because you have a habit of turning emotion into spectacle." Something settled in her chest then.
Calm. Clear.
"No," she said. "I learned." The board suspended Victor pending review.
Stock dipped.
Journalists circled. Emails surfaced. Documents aligned. What had once been clever became criminal when seen all at once. Victor tried to spin it, blame subordinates, claim ignorance, but the paper trail told a different story. Amara's careful, meticulous trail. He called her late one night, voice unsteady. "You did this," he said. "After everything I gave you." She closed her laptop gently. "You mocked my tears," she replied. "I collected your regrets." The fallout was brutal. Victor resigned before charges were announced, but it didn't save him. His name became a cautionary headline. Hale Global restructured. Apologies were issued. Committees were formed. Amara was offered a promotion, then another. She declined both. Instead, she walked out of the building on her last day with nothing but a box of personal items and a quiet sense of completion. People watched her go with new respect, some with guilt, some with fear. She didn't look back. Months later, she started her own firm, small, ethical, relentless. She hired people Victor would have overlooked. She created a culture where no one had to swallow humiliation to survive. Her reputation grew not because she shouted, but because she delivered. Sometimes, late at night, she remembered the girl in the doorway of the conference room, hands shaking, tears burning. She didn't hate that girl. She honored her. Those tears had been the beginning, not the end. Victor tried to rebuild elsewhere, but trust didn't come back. Regret followed him like a shadow, quiet, persistent, deserved. He would tell people he'd been betrayed. He never said by whom. Deep down, he knew better. Amara never contacted him again. She didn't need to. Because the most powerful revenge she learned wasn't destruction, it was clarity. And once someone truly sees what they've done, there is no hiding from the weight of it. He mocked her tears. She turned them into a ledger, and every line item came due.